This is Whispers of the Universe. Let the world slow down around you. Tonight we walk together into the mystery of dreams. Close your eyes, feel the air quiet around you. The day loosens its grip, and the night extends her hand. You are no longer bound to clocks or tasks, no longer tied to weight and motion. You are drifting, and in that drifting, a new horizon begins to open. Sleep does not arrive all at once. It comes as a gentle tide, wave by wave, carrying you further from the shore of waking life. You feel it first in your breath, slower, deeper, as though your lungs have begun to dream before you. Your thoughts scatter like birds at dusk. One lifts, another follows, until the whole flock disappears beyond the darkening trees. You do not chase them, you simply let them go. There is a passage that opens only at night. You cannot see its walls, but you feel yourself walking down step by step, as though descending a staircase that has no end. Each step takes you deeper into quiet. Each step takes you further from the world of names, rules, and boundaries. The sound of your footsteps dissolves, replaced by a hush, a silence that feels alive. This is the first descent. Dreams do not begin as stories. They begin as fragments, as sparks in the dark. A color drifts across your mind, blue like deep water. A shape appears fluid, shifting unsteady yet familiar in its strangeness. Voices echo though no mouths are seen. You feel yourself both here and not here, both body and mist. The border between you and the world fades, and you realize the dream is not just a place you enter. It is a place that enters you. Imagine yourself floating on a dark ocean. There is no land, no horizon, only water stretching into endless night. Yet you are not afraid. The water is warm. It holds you gently, as though it knows your weight and your history. Above, stars begin to appear. Not the stars of the waking sky, but stars that breathe, that move closer when you look at them. One by one, they lower themselves until they touch the water, glowing like lanterns upon the waves. You drift among them, and you realize this is the beginning of dream. The descent is slow, patient. It does not force itself upon you. It invites you to surrender. And with each breath, you give more of yourself away, your worries, your memories of the day, the unfinished sentences still circling in your head. They sink behind you like stones falling into the deep. The ocean accepts them all, and in return, it gives you silence. Dream is not escape, it is transformation. The world you knew melts and reshapes like ice, dissolving into water, water rising as mist thickening into clouds. Everything is changing form, and you are changing too. You feel your body becoming lighter, softer, as though the weight of bones and muscles no longer belongs to you. You are not a body now. You are a traveler of the unseen. What lies ahead you do not know. Dreams are not maps you can unfold. They are rivers that carve their own way. They take you through valleys you have never visited, into rooms that remember voices long gone, across skies where gravity forgets its duty. You will walk, you will fly, you will fall, you will rise. You will be both witness and creator, guest and host, stranger and self, and all of it begins here in the descent. The staircase of sleep continues. Your feet no longer touch its steps, yet you are still moving deeper, always deeper. The air grows softer, warmer, as if the night itself has become a blanket around you. The stars above shift, forming patterns you almost recognize. Faces appear and vanish. Hands reach out not to hold you, but to guide you. They point the way forward, though you cannot see the road. You do not need to. Dream is not a place to conquer, it is a place to trust. Notice how time begins to blur. What feels like seconds stretches into minutes. What feels like hours collapses into a single breath. You are both at the beginning and the end. You are both falling and floating. This is the paradox of dreams. They hold you in contradictions, and yet you feel no confusion. Because here, meaning is not measured in logic, it is measured in feeling. And what you feel now is peace. The first descent is not only into sleep, it is into yourself, into the chambers of your hidden mind, into the landscapes your heart has been painting in silence. Every color, every voice, every touch you could not name in the day finds its shape in the night. This is where your fears speak in symbols. This is where your desires dress themselves in story. This is where your soul learns its own language. You are no longer standing at the edge. You are inside the dream now, and the dream is inside you. There is no separation, only the gentle pulse of breath, the rhythm of night, and the infinite corridor opening before you. Breathe, rest, descend. The journey has just begun. There is a doorway that does not stand in the waking world. It cannot be touched with hands, cannot be seen with eyes. Yet every night we approach it. It is the threshold of sleep, the passage through which consciousness dissolves and reshapes itself. It is as ordinary as closing your eyes and as mysterious as the stars that shine when the sun disappears. We all know the feeling of standing near this doorway. It comes with the heaviness of eyelids, the loosening of thoughts, the surrender of the body into stillness. The world outside continues with its noise, its demands, its spinning clocks, but here within another world gathers itself in silence. The doorway waits. It has waited since the beginning of time, since the first living being closed its eyes and dreamed. The doorway is not always the same. For some, it appears as a soft meadow, a place of rest, with the scent of invisible flowers rising in the dark. For others, it is a staircase spiraling down deeper and deeper until sound itself becomes distant. Sometimes it is a bridge made of shadow stretching across a river of stars. Sometimes it is nothing at all, only the sudden sensation that you are falling, and then you are gone. The shapes change, but the invitation remains constant. Why do we enter? Because the body demands it, because the mind cannot burn endlessly without fuel, because there is a rhythm woven into our very being. Wake, rest, wake, rest. To resist is to suffer. To surrender is to heal. The doorway of sleep is the healer of time, the quiet architect of memory, the keeper of balance. Without it, we unravel. With it, we become whole again. Step closer in imagination. You feel it, the trembling edge of waking consciousness. Your thoughts scatter like sand in the wind. Some drift far away, never to return. Others linger, reshaping themselves into images you cannot yet name. You are both present and absent. This is the threshold. There is a moment when the body is still awake, but the mind is already dreaming. Your ears catch sounds of the outer world, the hum of air, the shifting of sheets, the faint echo of your own breath. Yet inside new sounds arise. A voice, not yours, whispers something you cannot quite understand. A melody plays, though no instrument is near. This is the doorway speaking, welcoming you into its halls. Science calls this the hypnagogic state, the drifting in between, a stage where the brain paints fragments of light and sound across the canvas of darkness. Faces appear, shift, dissolve. Geometries bloom like flowers and vanish. It is the mind loosening its grip on the ordinary. It is the rehearsal of dreaming, the opening of the door. But science is only one language. The soul has another. It says this is the borderland where you begin to remember what you have forgotten. The doorway is not simply a neurological state. It is a sacred passage. It is the river you must cross each night, the gate that humbles kings and children alike. Here we are equal. Here we are travelers. Imagine standing before it tonight. The world of your day, its voices, its burdens, its endless tasks rests like a heavy cloak on your shoulders. But the doorway does not ask you to carry it through. It asks you to let it fall. One by one, you release them. The worry about tomorrow, the memory of Vrez said the weight of unfinished things. They slide from you, dissolving into the dark. You step lighter. The doorway shines, though it is not light as you know it. It is the glow of possibility, the shimmer of unformed worlds. When you cross it, you will not remain who you were. You will be unbound. You may fly, you may fall. You may meet the living or the lost. You may walk through landscapes that echo with impossible colors. And yet all of it will belong to you. The dream will carry your face, your pulse, your secret longings. The doorway is both mirror and window. Pause, notice your breath, slow, deep. This is the key. Every inhale is a step closer. Every exhale is a surrender. The doorway opens with rhythm, not force. The night listens to your breathing, and with each beat, the passage grows wider. There is no need to rush. Dream is not a place to conquer, but a place to receive. Like a guest entering a temple, you bow, you quiet yourself, you allow the silence to guide you, and then without knowing exactly when you cross. The doorway does not slam open. It dissolves around you. One moment you are here, the next you are elsewhere. The bed beneath you fades. The walls of your room vanish, and you are walking across fields of stars. The doorway of sleep is both ending and beginning. It is the place where the story of your day closes its book. It is the place where the story of your night begins to write itself in ink made of shadow and light. It is not death, but it is a rehearsal for death, the gentle practice of letting go. And it is not life, but it feeds life, nourishing it from beneath. To step through is to be renewed. To step through is to remember that you are more than one world, more than one story, more than oneself. And tonight, as you approach it once more, you do not fear. You know it well, even if you forget it every morning. You know that beyond this threshold, a new universe waits, fluid, strange, and infinite. You know that the doorway of sleep is not only passage, but promise. A promise that every ending is followed by a beginning. A promise that rest is not emptiness, but fullness in another form. Step forward. Let it open. The dream is waiting. Dreams are landscapes without maps. They do not obey the laws of physics nor the logic of waking life. They rise and vanish like mist, shift their colors without warning, bend their shapes as if the world itself were made of water. These are the dreamscapes, the terrains of the night, vast and fluid, sculpted by imagination and memory, by longing and fear. Close your eyes and a new horizon unfolds. It may be a city floating in the sky, towers of glass, shimmering like crystals under a sun that never sets. Or perhaps it is a desert of silver sand, where two moons watch silently from above. You might find yourself walking through forests, where every tree hums softly, their leaves glowing with inner fire. Or you might drift across an ocean that stretches forever, its waves made of stars, each crest a galaxy dissolving into foam. Dreamscapes are boundless, and you are their traveler. Unlike the waking world, the dream does not ask permission. It builds itself around you, whether you choose it or not. One moment you stand in your childhood home, the next you are inside a labyrinth of mirrors where every reflection has a life of its own. The transition is seamless yet astonishing. You do not question how or why. The mind accepts the impossible in dream as easily as it rejects it in daylight. This is the strange generosity of sleep. It allows you to live in worlds you could never hold awake. Sometimes dreamscapes are gentle. You walk through a garden where rivers sing instead of flow, where birds speak words of kindness. The air smells of memories, a fragrance you cannot name, but know you have loved before. The path bends toward joy, and you awaken with peace. But not all dreamscapes are kind. Some are filled with shadow, with crumbling buildings, with storms that chase you endlessly. Some twist into nightmares, reminding you that fear too is a painter of the night. Yet even these dark terrains are part of you. They reveal corners of your soul that daylight conceals. What is a dreamscape made of? Fragments of memory, echoes of voices, shapes drawn from books you read, faces glimpsed once and forgotten colors that belong to no earthly palette. But beneath it all, there is something deeper. The dream is not a random collage. It is a mirror of inner weather. Your mind, like a hidden artist, takes emotion as paint, memory as brush, and imagination as canvas. It creates not to confuse you, but to speak in its own language. The mountain that rises before you is your challenge. The endless ocean is your desire for freedom. The locked door in the corridor is your silence. Every dreamscape is a metaphor waiting to be read with the eyes of the heart. Imagine standing at the edge of a dream desert. The sand beneath your feet is not hot, but cool like starlight. Each grain shines faintly, as though it remembers being part of a distant sun. The wind carries no dust, only whispers, your own voice multiplied and scattered. In the distance, a city glimmers, but when you walk toward it, it retreats. This is the language of longing, a reminder that some things are always close, yet always far. Now imagine the opposite, a dream forest. The trees are taller than mountains, their roots sinking into clouds. When the wind passes, they lean and sway like giants breathing in sleep. The ground glows with moss that lights your steps. Creatures made of light dart among the branches, their wings trailing sparks. You feel awe, and in awe, you feel small. This is the language of humility. The dream is teaching you that you are part of something vast. Not every dreamscape is grand. Sometimes you find yourself in an ordinary room, a kitchen, a hallway, a bus stop. Yet something is wrong. The clock ticks backward. The windows open to an ocean where none should be. The people you meet speak words that make no sense, yet you understand. These are the most mysterious dreamscapes, the ordinary transformed, the familiar made strange. They remind you that nothing is fixed, not even the world you think you know best. Dreamscapes also bend time. You may walk for days through mountains of crystal only to wake and find that minutes have passed. Or you may sleep for hours and dream only of a single moment stretched like eternity. In dreams, time is not linear, but liquid reshaping itself like water poured into shifting vessels. This is why dreamscapes feel both endless and fleeting. They are eternal while they last, and they vanish the moment you wake. And what happens when you wake? The dreamscape dissolves, leaving behind only fragments. A color, a sound, the trace of a voice. You try to grasp it, but it slips away like smoke between your fingers. Yet even forgotten, it has touched you. The dream has worked its quiet task, reshaping the soul in ways you may never see. Every dreamscape leaves a mark. Every journey matters even when memory lets it go. The landscapes of dream are not illusions. They are truths dressed in disguise. They are stories told by the unconscious, songs sung by the hidden self. They are the oceans and mountains of the heart, painted upon the canvas of night. When you step into them, you are not escaping reality. You are meeting another face of reality, one that exists only when the world slows down, when silence deepens, when you let yourself drift into the infinite. So walk gently. The dreamscape awaits. And though it may vanish at dawn tonight, it is real tonight, it is yours. Dreams are not only made of imagination, they are woven with memory, stitched from the fabric of what you have seen, heard, felt, and forgotten. Every night when you pass through the doorway of sleep, shadows of memory rise to meet you. They do not appear as they were. They wear masks, change costumes, reshape themselves into figures that are familiar yet strange. A childhood home becomes a vast palace. A voice from yesterday echoes in the mouth of a stranger. A forgotten song hums in the background of a landscape made of clouds. These are the shadows of memory walking with you through the corridors of dream. Memory is never still. Even in waking life, it shifts, blurs, rewrites itself. In dream, the process deepens. What you once lived is not repeated, but transformed. The mind, unchained from reason, paints memory as symbol. A schoolyard may return, but the children are faceless. A street you walked long ago appears, but the signs are written in languages you do not know. You recognize the place with your heart, even as your eyes declare it foreign. This is how memory disguises itself in sleep, close enough to touch, distant enough to haunt. Why does the mind summon memory into dream? Perhaps because memory is the root of identity, and dream is the soil where identity breathes. Your past is never gone. It moves like rivers beneath the surface, surfacing when night erases the noise. A gesture, a glance, a long buried sorrow, all of them rise and dream uninvited, yet insistent. They are the unfinished sentences of your life. Dream offers them a stage, not to accuse, not to punish, but to remind. The shadows of memory are messengers. They ask you to listen. Consider this: you are walking through a marketplace. The stalls overflow with fruit. You have never seen their colors, impossible, their shapes like fragments of geometry. You pick one up, and suddenly you remember the kitchen of your grandmother. You remember the smell of oranges in winter, the sound of a kettle whistling, the warmth of a hand guiding yours. The marketplace vanishes, but the feeling remains. This is how dreams tie memory to symbol, how shadows reveal themselves in disguise. Sometimes the shadows are gentle. They bring back laughter, the smile of a friend, the warmth of a summer day long gone. They let you walk again with those you have lost, offering one more conversation, one more embrace, even if only for a moment. You awaken with tears, but also with gratitude. For in that dream, the distance of years dissolved. The shadow gave you closeness. But not all memories are kind. Some arrive heavy, wrapped in sorrow. They replay arguments, wounds, failures, losses. They twist themselves into darker forms, houses collapsing, storms, chasing you corridors without end. These are the shadows of pain. They rise not to hurt you again, but because the mind cannot bury what still bleeds. Dream becomes the stage where grief rehearses itself, trying to find closure in the language of symbols. Shadows of memory are not always clear. Sometimes you awaken with only fragments, a face half remembered, a scent that fades as you open your eyes, a word on your tongue you cannot speak. These fragments linger like smoke. You reach for them, but they dissolve. Yet even without clarity, they have touched you. They have left their fingerprints on the day that follows. A sudden mood, a quiet heaviness, a spark of joy with no cause. These are the traces of memory's shadow carried forward into waking. Science says memory in dream is the work of the brain, sorting and filing, strengthening what matters, discarding what does not. Like a librarian in the dark, it places each experience into the right shelf. But beyond science, there is mystery. For who decides what matters? Why does the face of a stranger you met once appear again and again in dream, while entire days of your life vanish without a trace? Perhaps memory itself is not storage, but dialogue. Perhaps the shadows rise not as files, but as voices seeking to be heard. Imagine a dream where you are sitting at a table. Across from you is someone you once loved, someone gone now from your waking life. They look at you and smile. They say nothing, yet you understand. You feel the warmth of presence, the ache of absence all at once. When you wake, the table is gone, the face has dissolved, but the feeling lingers. It is as if the dream has given you a gift, not the memory itself, but its shadow carrying enough weight to touch your soul. The shadows of memory remind us that nothing is ever truly lost. The past is not behind us, it flows within us. Dream simply lifts the veil. It lets us walk with our ghosts, not to be haunted, but to be reminded of our wholeness. Every sorrow, every joy, every fragment contributes to who we are. The dream gathers them, weaves them into landscapes, and shows them back to us in strange mirrors. So when you close your eyes tonight and the shadows begin to rise, do not fear them. They are not strangers. They are pieces of you, fragments of your story, wearing masks to catch your attention. Welcome them, listen, and let them pass, for when morning comes, only their echoes will remain soft as whispers. But within something will have shifted. The shadows of memory will have done their work. Dreams speak in a language without words. They do not use sentences, nor grammar, nor the careful structures of waking thought. Instead, they weave a tapestry of images, gestures, sounds, and sensations. They speak through symbols, and when you sleep, you are plunged into an ocean of them, vast, shifting, immeasurable. Each night you float upon its waves, carried through waters made not of matter, but of meaning. The ocean of symbols is not charted. No map can capture it. No compass can point the way. One moment you are standing on a shore of endless doors, each painted in a different color. Another moment you are holding a key, though no lock is in sight. You walk down a hallway that turns into a river. You speak to a bird, and the bird answers in a voice you knew long ago. These are not accidents, they are the alphabet of dream. In the waking world, a chair is just a chair, a tree is just a tree. But in dreams, the ordinary is transformed. The chair may grow roots and sprout leaves. The tree may whisper secrets in the voice of your childhood friend. A stranger's face may carry your own eyes. Everything is metaphor, and every metaphor is alive. Why symbols? Because the deepest parts of the mind do not think in words. They think in shapes, in images, in associations. The unconscious speaks like a poet, not a mathematician. It does not say you are afraid of change. It shows you a crumbling bridge. It does not say you long for freedom. It shows you wings on your back. The dream tells the truth, slant in pictures that shimmer and shift. Imagine drifting across this ocean. The water is not blue, but a shifting mosaic of colors, gold, one moment, silver the next, then black as obsidian. Each wave rises, carrying a symbol, then falls, leaving it in your path. A mirror floats by. You look into it, but the reflection is not your present self. It is you as a child reaching out with eyes wide open. The mirror sinks, and in its place rises a book. The pages turn by themselves, written in a language you cannot read, yet somehow you understand. You drift further, and a door appears upon the surface of the water. You open it and step through, even as the ocean swallows it whole. This is how the ocean speaks, not with certainty, but with abundance. Some symbols are ancient, carried across centuries, whispered through cultures. The serpent, the river, the mountain, the fire archetypes shared by countless dreamers. They are part of the collective ocean flowing through all of us. Other symbols are deeply personal, known only to you. The sound of a song. Your mother sang the shape of a toy you once held, the scent of rain on a street where you grew. The dream mingles the universal with the intimate, weaving them into a fabric that belongs to you alone. To dream is to swim in this fabric, to surrender to currents beyond your control. You cannot force the ocean to give you one symbol instead of another. It rises from depths unseen, bringing what is needed, not what is asked. Sometimes it heals you. Dream of light, of water, of open skies. Sometimes it unsettles you. Dream of falling, of being chased, of losing your way. But whether gentle or fierce, the symbols are guides. They point, they signal, like they beckon. They are signposts in the language of the night. Consider the symbol of the house. In dream, it is rarely just walls and roof. It is the self, each room a memory, each stair a passage into deeper layers of being. You may find yourself in a basement you did not know existed, your hidden fears, or climbing to an attic filled with dust and forgotten boxes, your neglected memories. You may wander through endless hallways, never finding the door, your uncertainty. The house in dream is you vast and unexplored. Or take the ocean itself. When it rises in dream, it may be calm or storming. A calm sea reflects your peace. A raging sea may reveal your turmoil. But always water is the symbol of emotion, flowing restless, infinite. To dream of drowning is not to die, but to be overwhelmed by feeling. To dream of floating is to trust, to surrender. The ocean reminds you that you are not separate from your depths. Symbols are not puzzles with single answers. They are mirrors offering many reflections. A key in dream may mean opportunity, but it may also mean responsibility. A bird may be freedom or escape or even warning. The meaning depends not only on the symbol itself, but on the dreamer. For each of us swims in the same ocean, but the waves we meet are our own. And yet there is beauty in this ambiguity. Dreams do not hand you truth like a stone. They hand you a pearl still wrapped in layers. You must dive to uncover it. You must listen not just with the mind, but with the heart. In this way, the ocean of symbols is a teacher. It does not lecture, it invites. When you awaken, the symbols often scatter. A bird dissolves, a house fades, a mirror shatters. But even when forgotten, they leave their trace. You wake with a mood, a shift in perception, a quiet knowing. The ocean has touched you even if you do not remember the wave. And perhaps that is enough, for the work of symbols is not always to be understood, but to be felt. So tonight, when you drift once more into sleep, imagine yourself stepping into this ocean. Let the symbols come in whatever form they choose. Do not cling. Do not resist. Float. Listen. Trust. The ocean carries you, and in its endless waves, you may glimpse not only your hidden self, but the great mystery that connects all dreamers together. There are certain dreams that return again and again. They come to children, to adults, to the old, across culture, across language. Among the most universal are the dreams of flying and the dreams of falling. Two movements opposite, yet bound together, both rising from the same deep current of the human soul. To dream of flying is to feel weight vanish. The body, usually so heavy, so tied to the earth, suddenly lifts as if gravity has forgotten its hold. You run, and your feet no longer touch the ground. You stretch your arms, and the air accepts them like wings. The earth falls away, the sky unfolds, and you move not by force, but by freedom. There is joy in it, a joy so pure it cannot be described in words, only remembered in the heart. Flying dreams are often bright. The colors of the sky are deeper, more vivid than waking life. Clouds glow like lanterns. The horizon bends infinitely, pulling you forward. You rise above cities, rivers, mountains, sometimes above planets and stars. There is always a sense of vastness, of seeing more than you thought possible. And in that vastness, a feeling you are not trapped. You are boundless. Psychologists say flying dreams reflect freedom, desire, ambition, the wish to rise above limitation, to escape burdens, to expand. Perhaps that is true, but beyond psychology, there is poetry. For when you fly and dream, it is not only your body that rises, it is your spirit. You remember something ancient, perhaps a memory of being unbound before body, before form. In dream, the soul stretches its wings and remembers how to soar. Yet there is another side. Just as often we dream of falling, the sensation comes sudden without warning. One moment you are walking, standing, sitting, and the ground disappears. The body plunges downward, stomach rising, heart racing. You try to grasp something, but there is nothing. Only air, only speed, only the long descent. And just before you strike the ground, you wake, gasping, shaken, heart pounding, as if it has been dropped. Falling dreams carry fear. They remind us of fragility, of danger, of the truth that nothing is stable forever. We fall because we lose balance. We fall because the earth shifts. We fall because life itself sometimes drops us without warning. The dream shows us this with brutal clarity, stripping away comfort and control. It is a rehearsal of helplessness. But even here, there is meaning. To fall in dream is not always to fail. It may be to surrender, to let go of the illusion of control, to descend into the unknown, trusting that waking will catch you. The ground never arrives. Instead, the shock awakens you, and you realize the fall was not death, but passage. It was the mind teaching you what it feels like to release. Flying and falling, joy, and fear, freedom, and surrender. They are not opposites, but mirrors. Both reveal the relationship we have with gravity, both outer and inner. Gravity holds us, binds us, gives us weight. It is comforting, but it is also limiting. To fly is to escape it. To fall is to be claimed by it. Dreams show us both extremes, as if to remind us you live between them. Imagine a night where you first fly. You rise above rooftops, arms spread wide, laughing as the air lifts you higher. The city below is quiet, small, harmless. You spin, dive, soar upward again. It is bliss, pure and endless. But then, without warning, the wind shifts. Your wings vanish. The sky lets go. You plummet. The joy dissolves into fear. The dream has turned, yet both moments are true. Both belong to the same story. Perhaps that is the lesson. Life itself is a dance between ascent and descent, between days we soar and days we collapse. Dreams compress this truth into sensation, lifting you to heights you never imagined, then dropping you into depths you cannot resist. They do not punish, they remind. They show you that to be human is to rise and fall again and again. Not every falling dream is terror. Sometimes you fall into water and the water receives you gently. Sometimes you fall into darkness and the darkness feels soft like velvet. Sometimes you fall forever and instead of fear you feel peace, as if the descent has no end and no danger. The symbol shifts with the dreamer. It can mean failure, but it can also mean trust. It can mean collapse, but it can also mean surrender. And not every flying dream is joy. Sometimes you struggle to stay aloft, flapping invisible wings, always fearing you will crash. Sometimes the sky is storming lightning, chasing you. Sometimes you fly, but cannot control the direction, carried helplessly by winds. Even in flight, the dream reminds you freedom is not without challenge. Flying and falling are two halves of one coin. They echo the eternal rhythm of breath, inhale and exhale. The inhale lifts you, fills you, expands you. The exhale releases, empties, lets go. Dream translates this rhythm into motion, into flight and descent. It is the body of the night breathing through you. When you awaken from such dreams, the feeling lingers. The joy of flight carries into the day as hope, as energy, as vision. The fear of falling follows as caution, humility, awareness of fragility. Both shape you even if the images fade. Both are gifts. For to fly and dream is to remember your freedom, and to fall and dream is to remember your humanity. Tonight, if you find yourself rising, do not resist. Stretch your arms, trust the air. Let joy fill you, and if you find yourself falling, do not despair. Breathe, let go. Know that waking will catch you. Both flight and fall are part of the same journey. Both are whispers of the universe reminding you that even in sleep, you are learning how to live. In dreams, we often meet others. Faces appear, family, friends, strangers, sometimes people long gone. But beneath these shifting masks, there is always one constant presence, yourself. Dream is a mirror. It reflects you not as you appear in daylight, but as you are within. It shows what you carry, what you hide, what you long for, what you fear. Every figure, every landscape, every voice may in truth be an echo of you. When you stand before an actual mirror, you see surface, skin hair expression, a fragment of identity. But the mirror of dream does not show surfaces. It dives deeper. It reveals the hidden architecture of the mind, the places you avoid the corners. You forget the shapes of wounds you thought were healed. It places them before you, not in accusation, but in recognition. This is who you are. This too is part of you. Sometimes the mirror is clear. You dream of standing before your own reflection, but the face looking back is younger or older or entirely different. Perhaps it is your child self eyes filled with wonder. Perhaps it is an aged version of you lined with stories yet to unfold. Perhaps it is not human at all, but animal, bird, or shadow. The dream is telling you you are not fixed. You are river changing, flowing, unending. Other times, the mirror hides itself in people around you. The friend who comforts you in dream may be your own tenderness reflected. The enemy who chases you may be your own anger given shape. The stranger who guides you may be your forgotten wisdom returning in disguise. Every dream figure is both itself and you, a shard of the mirror turned outward. The dream asks you to recognize your own face in many masks. The landscapes, too, are mirrors. A broken house may be your own fragility. A vast ocean may be your own depth of feeling. A storm may be your own unrest. Dream reshapes the outer world to reflect the inner. It tells you, look, not at what is outside, but at what is within. Sometimes the mirror shows what we do not want to see. It reveals our jealousy, our fear, our loneliness, our rage. We wake disturbed, unsettled, wishing to forget. But the dream does not show to harm. It shows to remind. These feelings are part of you, and only by acknowledging them can you be whole. The mirror of dream is honest even when honesty hurts, and yet the mirror can also be kind. It shows our strength, our courage, our love. It lets us see ourselves holding, protecting, creating, shining. We may wake with hope, remembering not only our shadows, but our light. The dream reflects both because both belong to us. Think of a time you dreamed of someone embracing you. Perhaps you thought it was another person, but perhaps it was you embracing yourself, showing you the compassion you rarely give when awake. Or think of the dream where you were lost and a guide appeared. Perhaps it was not an angel or stranger. Perhaps it was the wiser self within leading you back to center. Dream is not only a mirror of wounds, it is also a mirror of healing. Why mirrors? Because the self is too vast to be seen in one piece. Daylight shows only fragments shaped by society, by duty, by expectation. But in dream, the fragments gather. The self, hidden behind masks, steps forward. It is raw, unfiltered, whole. The mirror reflects it, even if only for a moment. And though we may forget upon waking, the impression remains like light, still glowing after the lamp has gone dark. Imagine a dream where you stand in a hall of mirrors. Each pane reflects not one, but many versions of you. One is a child, one is an elder, one is laughing, one is weeping, one is strong, one is fragile, one is full of rage, one is full of peace. You walk among them, and as you do, they merge and shift, revealing that they are not separate. They are all you. The hall stretches endlessly, and still The reflections continue, countless faces, countless selves. You realize you are not a single identity, but a constellation. The mirror reveals this truth: you are more than you think. This is why dreams matter. They remind us that the self is not a closed circle, but an open horizon. They show us that identity is fluid, alive, shifting. They reflect our wounds, our joys, our longings, our fears, so that we may not forget them. They place us face to face with ourselves again and again until we learn to recognize both shadow and light as equally our own. When you awaken from such dreams, you may feel unsettled, you may feel inspired, you may feel both. That is the mirror's gift. It does not flatter, it does not condemn, it shows. And in showing it, invites you to see, to accept, to grow. Tonight, when you dream, remember every figure, every place, every voice may be another version of you. The dream is your mirror, polished not with glass, but with mystery. And in its reflection, you may find not only who you are, but who you are becoming. Not all dreams are gentle. Not all landscapes of the night are gardens or skies of light. Sometimes sleep leads us into darker rooms where shadows grow teeth and silence carries menace. These are the nightmares, the haunted corridors of the mind, the storms that rise when fear finds its voice. Nightmares are ancient. Children cry from them clutching blankets. Adults wake drenched in sweat, heart pounding. Elders shiver at visions that feel more real than memory. Across time, across culture, nightmares follow us like wolves through the forest of sleep. They are not mistakes, they are messages. In nightmares, familiar places twist into the uncanny. A house you know suddenly feels wrong. The windows too dark, the halls too long. A street bends endlessly, with no end in sight. A face you trust shifts into something monstrous. Every detail is slightly altered enough to disturb the soul. It is the mind whispering, "Here lies what you fear." Often the body itself joins the nightmare. You try to run, but your legs are heavy, as if chains bind your steps. You try to scream, but your voice dissolves into silence. You try to fight, but your arms move as though trapped in stone. This paralysis is familiar to many dreamers. It is terror not only of the enemy, but of helplessness itself. Nightmares remind us of how fragile control can be. What do nightmares want? Some say they are the brain processing trauma, working through what cannot be spoken. Some say they are survival rehearsals, training us in danger, sharpening instinct. Others believe they are spirits' warnings from realms beyond. Whatever the theory, one truth stands: nightmares demand attention. They arrive when something deep inside insists on being seen. Consider the archetypal chases. You run endlessly through forests, through alleys, through labyrinths. The pursuer is faceless or animal or shadow. You do not know why it follows, only that it does, tireless, relentless. Perhaps it is fear itself given form. Perhaps it is the part of you you try to escape in waking life. The chase will not end until you turn, until you see, or the dream of falling darker than the playful descent. Here the fall is endless, hopeless, filled with dread. No wings appear, No ground arrives, only the suffocating knowledge that you are trapped in descent. This is the nightmare of collapse, of losing foundation, of surrender without safety. Some nightmares repeat. The same house burns again and again. The same figure waits at the end of the hallway. The same flood rises each night. Repetition is a sign the message has not been heard, the wound has not healed. The mind knocks on the same door until you answer. And yet, even nightmares are teachers. They force us to face what we deny, the grief we bury, the anger we suppress, the fear we laugh away. They return in the language of dream, dressed as monsters and storms. They are frightening because truth is frightening. But if we can listen, even trembling, we may find that nightmares are not punishments, but mirrors. They reflect the shadow side of the soul, the part we must acknowledge to become whole. Imagine waking from a nightmare. Your heart still races, your breath comes sharp, the images burn behind your eyes. You want to push them away to forget, but they cling. All day, a shadow follows you, an unease you cannot name. This too is part of their work. Nightmares blur the border between sleep and waking, reminding you that the hidden cannot be escaped simply by opening your eyes. Some cultures see nightmares as warnings. They listen closely to their symbols. A flood may warn of coming sorrow. A broken bridge may foretell loss. A snake may signal betrayal. Whether prophecy or psychology, nightmares carry weight. They insist on meaning. They will not be dismissed as random. And yet nightmares are not endless enemies. They can be transformed. Dreamers who practice lucid dreaming sometimes turn to face their nightmares, asking the monster its name, asking the shadow its purpose. Often the pursuer vanishes when confronted. Often the monster becomes a guide. Even terror can dissolve into wisdom if met with courage. Perhaps that is their hidden gift. Nightmares show us fear in its rawest form so that we may learn to face it. They strip away illusion, comfort pretense, leaving us vulnerable. And in that vulnerability lies strength. The strength to look to endure, to transform. The nightmare does not come to destroy you. It comes to awaken you. Next time you find yourself in the grip of one, remember you are not truly alone. The shadow is yours, but so is the light. The storm is fierce, but so is your breath. The terror is vast, but so is your courage. Even in the darkest dream, the soul has not abandoned you. It is only showing you what waits to be healed. So do not fear the nightmare entirely. Fear it as you would fear fire, respecting its danger, but also recognizing its power to transform. In its flames lie messages. In its darkness lie truths. And when you awaken trembling, but alive, remember the nightmare has done its work. It has brought you face to face with yourself. Time in waking life is a river. It flows forward second by second, carrying us from past to present to future. We measure it with clocks, with calendars, with the sun's rise and fall. But in dreams, time forgets its laws. The river bends, collapses, expands. A single moment stretches into eternity, while years dissolve into a blink. To dream is to step outside of time into a dimension where hours and minutes lose meaning. Think of those dreams that last a lifetime. You live a whole story, childhood love loss, wandering only to awaken and realize mere minutes have passed. The weight of decades vanishes in the turning of an alarm. Or think of the opposite, you asleep for hours, yet your dream is no more than a fragment, a glance, a single heartbeat suspended in darkness. In dream time is liquid shifting between vast oceans and tiny drops. Why does dream bend time? So science says it is because the brain, unbound by external rhythm, processes information differently. Neurons fire in patterns untethered from the clock. The result, perception itself, warps. But beyond science, there is mystery. For what is time if not perception? And in dream perception is a painter with endless freedom. Dream time is subjective. It follows emotion, not clocks. A moment of joy may stretch endlessly as though the dream refuses to let it end. A moment of fear may race forward, collapsing scenes so quickly you can barely hold them. Love slows time, fear accelerates it, longing suspends it. The dream obeys the heart, not the sun. Sometimes dream shows us parallel time. You live two lives at once, walking through two streets, speaking two conversations, being two selves. You awaken confused, wondering how you could exist in two places at once. But in dream time is not linear. It is layered, like pages of a book read all at once, overlapping. And sometimes dream takes you backward. You return to childhood walking, familiar rooms, hearing voices long gone. It feels real, as though the years between never existed. You are not remembering, you are reliving. Dream collapses the barrier, letting past become present. In this way, dream time is not memory, but resurrection. Other times, dream takes you forward. You live events that have not yet occurred. Some call these prophetic dreams. Science calls them coincidence pattern making. But for the dreamer, they feel undeniable. You see tomorrow's face, and when tomorrow arrives, it matches. Here, dream time bleeds into waking time, erasing boundaries. Dreams also distort time with repetition. The same moment loops, climbing stairs again and again, opening the same door, hearing the same sentence. You are trapped in cycles, unable to break free. This looping mirrors the patterns of life itself, the habits we repeat, the wounds we revisit. Dreams bend time to show us where we are stuck. Then there are dreams where time is absent altogether. No past, no future, only an eternal present. You exist suspended without before or after. There is no urgency, no movement, only being. Some call this dream timelessness, a taste of eternity, a glimpse of what lies beyond the river. Imagine a dream where you sit beneath a tree. The sun never moves, the shadows never shift. You sit breathing, feeling infinite peace. When you wake, you cannot measure how long you were there. Minutes, hours, forever. The dream has erased time, offering you a moment of eternity wrapped inside a night. What does this bending of time teach us? That time, even in waking life, may not be as rigid as we think. That our perception creates duration, not the other way around. That joy lengthens life, sorrow compresses it, love suspends it. Dreams reveal what we already sense. Time is not iron, but water. It flows, but it also shifts, curls, eddies. It is shaped not only by stars and gravity, but by the heart that feels it. Night after night, dreams remind us of this truth. We may wake and look at the clock, convincing ourselves we know the measure of hours, but within something else lingers. The sense that we have lived more than the night could hold. The feeling that we have traveled across lifetimes in a single sleep. The quiet knowing that time is not the cage we think it is, but a veil that thins when we close our eyes. So when you dream tonight and time begins to bend, do not resist. If it stretches, let it. If it collapses, accept it. If it disappears, breathe into the eternity it offers. For dreams and time are lovers dancing endlessly, shaping one another, and in their dance they whisper, "The infinite is closer than you think." There are nights when the veil between dream and waking grows thin. You dream that you are asleep. You dream that you are dreaming. Layers fold upon layers, and you find yourself trapped inside a hall of mirrors, never sure which reflection is real. This is the dream within a dream, a paradox of the night, a mystery that has haunted poets, philosophers, and dreamers for centuries. The experience is unsettling. You awaken inside the dream, certain you are back in waking life. You sit up in bed, touch the sheets, hear the hum of night outside your window. Everything feels true. And then something strange happens. The door opens by itself. The clock melts. Your hand passes through the wall. You realize you are still dreaming, and the shock ripples through you as if reality itself has betrayed you. Sometimes this repeats. You wake again, relieved, believing you are free. But again, the world cracks, and again you discover you are inside another dream. It can happen 3 times, 5 times, endlessly, until you no longer trust waking. The dream folds in on itself, layers within layers, like Russian dolls without end. Each awakening feels final, yet each one dissolves. You wander through illusions of waking, unsure if you will ever return. Why do such dreams occur? Science says they are linked to micro awakenings, moments when the brain stirs without fully leaving sleep. The dream tries to account for these shifts, creating false awakenings, weaving them into the narrative. But science only explains the mechanics, not the meaning. The deeper question remains, why does the soul dream of dreaming? Perhaps it is because reality itself is layered. We live inside worlds of assumption, belief, perception. What we call waking may itself be another dream, one level among many. When the dream shows us its layers, it whispers, "Do not be so certain. Do not assume you have reached the ground." Reality may be infinite descent, infinite unfolding, infinite awakening. Imagine a dream where you rise from bed, you walk to the mirror, your reflection blinks half a second too late. You know something is wrong. Then you awaken again, this time in another room, another bed. The cycle continues, each awakening more fragile than the last. At first, fear dominates, will I ever wake? But eventually, wonder takes hold. How many layers are there? How deep does the dream go? Poets have long been fascinated by this mystery. Is all that we see or seem but a dream within a dream? Wrote Edgar Allan Poe. The question lingers not only in literature, but in philosophy. If we can dream of waking, what proof do we have that waking itself is not another dream? Where is the anchor? Where is the certainty? Perhaps there is none. Perhaps the dream within a dream is the universe reminding us that certainty is fragile, that life itself is woven of shifting veils. For the dreamer, the experience can be frightening. False awakenings blur trust. They leave you wary of your own senses, suspicious of reality, but they can also be liberating. They show you that reality is not absolute, that perception is flexible. They loosen your grip on solidity, teaching you to move with the flow of appearances. When you dream of dreaming, you touch the mystery at the heart of existence, that reality itself may be layered illusion. Some dreamers find in these layers a strange beauty. To awaken again and again is to practice release, to learn not to cling too tightly to any single frame of reality. It is training in impermanence. It is rehearsal for letting go. Each false awakening is both deception and teaching. It fools you, then instructs you, trust less in surface trust, more in depth. Others experience lucidity through such dreams. When you realize you are still dreaming, awareness sharpens. You begin to shape the dream, walking its layers with intent. You fly, you explore, you converse with shadows. The dream within a dream becomes a gateway, not a trap. It opens to deeper exploration of mind, of self, of possibility. Yet even then, the question lingers. When you finally wake, how do you know it is final? Perhaps this life too is another false awakening. Perhaps death itself is only another layer peeling away. The dream within a dream is not only a phenomenon of sleep, it is a metaphor of existence. We may never know if we are at the first layer or the thousandth, and maybe that is the point. When morning comes and you rise from bed, a quiet echo follows. Was that real or another dream? The question itself is part of the gift, for it softens certainty. It opens space for humility, for wonder, for mystery. We walk lighter when we remember that even waking may be woven of dream. So tonight, if you awaken inside your dream, do not fear. Look around, touch the strangeness, ask the layers what they mean. For each awakening, real or false, is part of the great unfolding. Each layer is another whisper of the universe, reminding you reality itself is a dream, and the dream is endless. Dreams often feel private. They unfold behind closed eyes in the silence of night, where no one else can enter. We wake with the sense that what we saw belonged only to us, that no other soul could have walked the same path. Yet across history, people have spoken of shared dreams, visions experienced together, woven across two or more minds. They are rare, mysterious, and deeply haunting. Sometimes shared dreams arise between lovers. One wakes and says, "I dreamed we were walking beside the sea." The other answers, "I dreamed the same." The details align: the color of the sky, the rhythm of waves, the words spoken. Two sleepers separated by distance, yet meeting in the same dreamscape. Coincidence? Perhaps. But to those who have lived it, it feels like proof that the borders of mind are not walls, but doors. Families too speak of them. A mother dreams of her child in danger, waking in fear only to find her child had the same dream waking with the same terror. Siblings dream of the same house, the same storm, the same voice calling their names. Dream becomes a thread, weaving the family together beyond waking life. Even strangers have reported them. A dream shared among people who never spoke before, describing the same room, the same figure, the same symbol. Anthropologists have collected such stories in tribal cultures where dream is not seen as private, but communal. The tribe gathers each morning to share dreams, seeking overlaps, listening for the voice of the collective soul. Dreams in this view are not solitary islands, but waves in the same ocean, sometimes rising together. Science is cautious. It says shared dreams are the product of chance memory bias suggestion. Two people may interpret vague images in similar ways, believing them the same. The human mind seeks connection patterns, symmetry. Shared dreams, science argues, are illusions of overlap. And yet science cannot measure everything. It cannot measure the intimacy felt by two souls who know they have walked the same dream road. It cannot dismiss the tears of recognition, the awe of finding yourself not alone in the world of sleep. Perhaps shared dreams are evidence of something deeper, that consciousness is not entirely separate, that beneath the surface of individuality there is a field, a network, a web. Dreams may touch this web, pulling threads together, creating brief bridges between souls. Like stars connected by invisible constellations, minds may sometimes shine in harmony. Imagine two dreamers meeting in such a space. They stand upon a shore neither has seen before, yet both recognize. They speak without words, their thoughts flowing directly. They know each other not as strangers, not even as friends, but as parts of the same whole. When they wake, distance returns, silence returns, but the memory remains. And in that memory is the certainty we are not as separate as we think. Shared dreams also appear in myths. Ancient texts speak of kings who dreamed the same dream as their prophets. The vision confirmed by two minds at once. Some cultures believe that when two dreamers see the same thing, it is a message from beyond, a sign from the gods or ancestors. Others believe lovers who dream together are bound by fate, their souls meeting in the night when bodies are apart. Whether myth or mystery, the feeling is the same. Shared dreams carry weight. They remind us that dream is not only personal, but universal, that what flows through one mind may touch another, that the boundaries of self are not absolute. And even when we do not share exact dreams, we share themes. Across the world, people dream of flying, of falling, of being chased, of standing before endless oceans. The symbols are collective rising from the deep well of humanity. In this sense, all dreams are shared. The ocean beneath our islands is the same, even if the waves on the surface differ. So tonight, when you drift into sleep, Remember, you may not dream alone. You may walk a road that someone else also walks. You may hear a voice another also hears. You may wake with the faint echo of connection, unable to explain it, yet unable to deny it. For dreams are not prisons of solitude. They are bridges, sometimes invisible, sometimes twining between one soul and another. Shared dreams whisper a truth older than memory, that we belong not only to ourselves, but to each other. Dreams often return us to the past, weaving shadows of memory, replaying fragments of what has been. But just as often, they carry us forward, into the unknown, into the not yet, into the landscapes of tomorrow. These are the dreams of the future visions that appear before their time, stirring awe, curiosity, sometimes fear. We have all heard stories. A woman dreams of a ship sinking only to hear days later of a tragedy at sea. A man dreams of meeting a stranger and weeks later encounters the same face on a crowded street. Children dream of disasters, warnings, journeys, and their parents dismiss them until events unfold in uncanny similarity. Prophetic dreams, they are called, though science names them coincidence, pattern recognition, the randomness of memory. And yet the mystery persists. Why should the mind wander forward as well as back? Some say time itself is not linear, but layered, and dream allows us to glimpse through the folds, like cracks in a wall through which light seeps. Dreams may let future and present overlap. Others say the unconscious notices details. The waking mind ignores the sickness in a friend's cough, the weakness in a bridge, the tension in the air, and weaves them into visions that appear prophetic. And some believe dreams truly pierce the veil, showing us what is yet to come, a gift or a burden from the unknown. Imagine lying in bed and seeing tomorrow, the faces you will meet, the words that will be spoken, the accident that will alter your path. You wake uneasy, unsure whether to believe. When the day arrives, pieces align, not always perfectly, but enough to chill the soul. You feel you have walked these steps before, spoken these words, lived this moment. Deja vu, some call it. But perhaps deja vu is simply the memory of a dream remembered too late. Dreams of the future are not always grand or catastrophic. Sometimes they are small, tender. You dream of a letter, and the next day it arrives. You dream of a song, and the radio plays it when you wake. You dream of a reunion, and days later you see an old friend. These quiet prophecies remind us that the line between dream and life is thinner than we believe. There are also dreams that shape the future, not merely predict it. An inventor dreams of a machine and later builds it. An artist dreams of an image and later paints it. A scientist dreams of a formula and later discovers it true. History holds many such tales. Dreams planting seeds that waking hands later cultivate. In this way, dream is not passive vision, but active creation. It whispers possibilities, waiting for us to bring them into light. But not all dreams of the future are gentle. Sometimes they are warnings. The flood rising, the fire spreading, the illness creeping. Dreams may reveal dangers, urging us to change course, to prepare to act. Whether mystical prophecy or sharp intuition, they awaken us to risks hidden in shadow. They remind us that tomorrow is fragile, shaped by choices we make today. What are we to do with such dreams? To cling to them, fearing every vision, is to lose peace. To dismiss them entirely is to lose guidance. Perhaps the middle path is best to listen to, consider to let the dream speak, but not to let it bind us. Dreams of the future are like whispers on the wind. They may guide, they may warn, but they do not command. The future remains fluid, a river still changing its course. Think of a dream where you stand at a crossroads. One road leads to light, the other to shadow. You take a step and wake before you know where it leads. The dream is not telling you what will happen. It is telling you choice matters. Direction matters. The future is not fixed. And yet sometimes it feels fixed. We dream of events, and they unfold exactly as seen. No choice, no change, only confirmation. In those moments, we feel the chill of destiny, the sense that time is a script already written. But even then, perhaps the dream is not about inevitability. Perhaps it is about preparation. The dream gives us courage to meet what comes, strength to endure what cannot be altered. Dreams of the future remind us of mystery. That time is not a simple line. That past and present and future may be woven in ways we cannot understand. That the soul may wander further than the body, touching shores we have not yet reached. And whether they are prophecy, intuition, or coincidence, they awaken wonder. They remind us to walk carefully, to listen, to notice. They remind us that tomorrow is not far away. It is already whispering in our sleep. So tonight, as you close your eyes, listen. The dream may carry echoes of what is yet to come. Do not fear them. Do not cling to them. Let them pass through you like wind through leaves, leaving only the reminder the future is alive, and sometimes it knocks at the door of the night. Not all dreams are warnings. Not all dreams frighten or unsettle. Some come like gentle hands, like warm light, like the soft voice of a friend. These are healing dreams, dreams that soothe the wounded heart, ease the burdened mind, and remind us of wholeness we thought lost. Healing dreams often appear in times of struggle. When grief weighs heavy, when illness lingers, when sorrow feels endless, the night may bring comfort. You may dream of a garden overflowing with flowers that never fade. You may dream of a voice calm and familiar, telling you that you are safe. You may dream of water washing over you, cleansing, cooling, carrying pain away. These visions do not erase reality, but they give strength to meet it. They remind us that even in darkness, the soul carries its own medicine. Many people dream of loved ones who have died, not as ghosts, not as terrors, but as companions. They arrive smiling, embracing, speaking with ease. For a moment, the distance between worlds collapses. You feel presence, warmth, forgiveness, love. When you wake, tears may come, but also peace. The dream has given you what waking cannot, a chance to say goodbye, or a chance to say nothing at all, simply to be together once more. Healing dreams may also bring images of renewal. A broken body moves with ease. A withered tree bursts into bloom. A scar fades from sight. The dream whispers healing is possible, even if the body does not mend, the spirit remembers its strength. Even if sorrow remains, the heart remembers its light. The dream heals not by changing the outer world, but by awakening the inner one. Science has studied these dreams too. Some researchers say they are the brain's way of regulating stress, creating balance after trauma. Others say they are expressions of the immune system signals of the body's attempt to repair itself. But beyond biology, there is mystery, for no study can measure the peace of waking from such a dream, the quiet shift inside the way. Grief feels lighter even when nothing has changed. Healing dreams are not always obvious. Sometimes they come hidden in symbol. You dream of walking a long road weary and hopeless until a stranger gives you bread and water. You dream of being lost in a storm until you find shelter glowing with firelight. You dream of carrying a heavy load until wings unfold from your back. These symbols remind you that help exists. Strength returns, hope is not gone. The dream heals by planting seeds of resilience. At times, healing dreams are communal. Whole cultures tell stories of shamans who dream for the tribe, finding cures, discovering herbs, receiving guidance from spirits of the night. Healing is not only personal, but collective. The dream becomes a bridge carrying medicine from the unseen into the world of the living. And sometimes the healer in the dream is yourself. You may see your own hands glowing with light. You may see yourself holding your broken self, whispering words of kindness. The dream shows you the power already within you, the compassion you deny yourself in daylight. It teaches you to be your own source of comfort. Imagine a night where you lie sick, body aching, spirit weary. You fall asleep and dream of a river. You step into its waters, and the pain dissolves. You float, carried by currents that know exactly what you need. When you wake, the illness remains, but something is different. The despair has softened. You feel strong enough to continue. That is the gift of the healing dream. Healing does not always mean cure. It may mean acceptance. It may mean peace. It may mean remembering joy even in sorrow. Dreams heal by reconnecting us with the parts of ourselves we forget: courage, tenderness, wonder, hope. They remind us that wholeness is not perfection. Wholeness is simply being with all that we are, shadow and light alike. So if tonight a dream comes to you with gentle touch, welcome it. If you meet someone long gone, embrace them. If you walk through gardens that never fade, breathe deeply. If you feel hands upon your shoulders, rest in their comfort. The dream is offering medicine drawn from the hidden well of your soul. Take it, carry it, and let it remind you, even in pain, you are never without healing. There are dreams where we are swept along powerless, carried by currents we cannot control. And then there are other dreams. Dreams where we awaken inside the dream. Dreams where we know this is not waking life. This is sleep, and yet I am aware. These are lucid dreams, the rare moments when consciousness blooms in the middle of night's theater. Lucid dreams often begin with strangeness. You notice the clock does not move as it should. You flip a light switch and nothing changes. You look at your hands, and they blur, melting into shapes that cannot exist. In that instant, awareness arrives. You say to yourself, I am dreaming, and the dream responds by opening its gates. To be lucid is to stand at the threshold of two worlds, one foot in imagination, one foot in awareness. You are both actor and audience, both painter and canvas. The dream bends to your intention, yet still holds mysteries of its own. You may rise into the air, soaring across landscapes you choose. You may summon a door and walk into another world. You may ask a question, and the dream itself answers. For some, lucid dreaming is joy. It is flight, freedom, adventure. It is walking through galaxies, meeting impossible beings, shaping reality like clay. For others, it is healing. Nightmares dissolve when faced with awareness. The monster shrinks. The chase ends. The darkness turns to light. The dreamer discovers courage, power, peace. But lucidity is not always control. Sometimes the dream resists. Sometimes it shifts unexpectedly, reminding you that imagination has a will of its own. You may summon light and still find shadows. You may demand answers and receive silence. Lucid dreams are a dialogue, not a dictatorship. They show us that even when awake inside sleep, mystery remains. Why do they happen? Science says lucidity occurs when parts of the brain normally dormant in sleep flicker awake. The prefrontal cortex stirs, granting self-awareness without breaking the dream. It is a balance between sleeping and waking, a delicate state where both overlap. But beyond biology, lucidity feels like gift. It feels like a reminder that consciousness is not bound by ordinary rules, that awareness is portable, able to wander through dimensions unseen. Some people train themselves to enter lucid dreams. They keep dream journals written each morning to sharpen memory. They practice reality checks, looking at their hands, testing light switches, questioning the solidity of the world. They carry these habits into sleep, and in dreams, the tests reveal the truth. Others practice meditation, holding attention steady as the body drifts. Through discipline and patience, lucidity can be invited, though never guaranteed. Lucid dreams can also be fragile. The moment awareness grows too sharp, the dream shatters, and waking pulls you back. To remain lucid requires balance, enough clarity to know enough softness to stay, like holding a soap bubble without bursting it. This fragility teaches patience, teaching the dreamer to move gently, to honor the delicacy of awareness. The possibilities of lucid dreams are vast. They can be laboratories of creativity where artists find images, musicians hear songs, writers discover stories. They can be classrooms of wisdom where dreamers ask questions of their own subconscious or of guides who appear within. They can be sanctuaries of healing where wounds are revisited, soothed, transformed. And sometimes they are simply play the joy of shaping clouds, of swimming through stars, of touching infinity with bare hands. Yet lucid dreams also raise questions. If we can awaken inside a dream, how do we know we are awake now? What if waking itself is another dream waiting for lucidity, The line between dream and reality blurs, and we are left with humility. Perhaps life too is a lucid dream, waiting for us to realize it. Imagine tonight you become lucid. You are standing in a city made of mirrors. You touch the glass, and it ripples like water. You know you can step through. You walk and find yourself beneath endless stars, floating in space without fear. You ask the night a question: who am I? The stars shimmer, arranging themselves into a constellation that whispers back, "You are this and more." You wake with wonder, carrying a truth too large for words. Lucid dreams remind us of the vastness of the mind. They remind us that awareness is flexible, not confined to daylight. They remind us that mystery is not an enemy, but a companion. Even when we awaken within the dream, there is more to see, more to learn, more to love. So if tonight lucidity comes, welcome it. Do not cling too tightly. Do not fear its fragility. Walk gently. Breathe slowly. Listen deeply. For lucid dreams are not escapes from reality, but reflections of it. Reminders that awareness itself is boundless and that the dreamer is always more than the dream. In waking life, animals live beside us. They walk the forests, swim the seas, fly across the skies. We see them as companions, as mysteries, sometimes as strangers. But in dreams, animals speak another language. They appear not just as creatures of fur, feather, or scale, but as symbols, guides, mirrors of instinct. To dream of animals is to listen to the voice of nature within the self. Since the earliest days, humans have looked to animals in dream. Cave paintings suggest that shamans dreamed of deer bison and birds taking their presence as omens. Ancient texts record kings who dreamed of lions and serpents reading them as signs of fate. In every culture, animals carry meanings larger than themselves. Strength, cunning, fertility, danger, wisdom, dreams borrow this language, weaving it into the night. Consider the dream of a lion. It may roar with your own courage, reminding you of power you have forgotten. Or it may stalk you, showing fear of domination, of aggression. A lion can be protector or threat king or predator, depending on the dreamer's soul. In the language of dreams, one animal speaks many dialects. Or think of the serpent. In waking life, feared, avoided, respected. In dream, it may signal danger, deception, hidden threat. Or it may embody transformation, the shedding of skin, the rebirth of spirit. The serpent is both shadow and renewal teacher and warning. It speaks with a forked tongue, not of lies, but of complexity. Birds, too, arrive often in dreams. Their wings remind us of freedom, of perspective, of flight beyond limitation. To dream of a bird rising may mean your soul longs to rise. To dream of a bird trapped may mean you feel caged. Songs of birds and dreams may echo forgotten voices, messages of joy, or calls of grief. The bird is messenger, carrying news between worlds. Wolves, dogs, and cats appear as companions. Sometimes they comfort walking loyally by your side. Sometimes they threaten eyes glowing, teeth bared. They may embody trust or betrayal, instinct or independence. To dream of a dog may remind you of loyalty you cherish or loyalty you fear you will lose. To dream of a cat may reflect mystery, sensuality, or solitude. These creatures mirror our relationships not only with them, but with parts of ourselves. Aquatic animals also speak. The fish, the dolphin, the whale symbols of depth, of hidden emotion, of wisdom, carried in the waters of the unconscious. A fish darting through clear waters may suggest insight, swift and elusive. A whale rising from the deep may reveal ancient memory, something vast stirring within. The ocean in dream is already the realm of symbol, and its animals carry that depth even further. Sometimes animals in dreams speak directly. A horse looks into your eyes and whispers without words. An owl turns its head, and you understand its meaning, though no sound is made. This is not fantasy, but language, the language of instinct, older than human speech. To hear animals in dreams is to hear yourself in a purer voice, unfiltered by thought. Why do animals speak so strongly in dream? Because they are our kin. We share breath hunger, fear longing. We carry their archetypes in our bones, in the oldest parts of our brain. The limbic system remembers the hunter, and the hunted the flock, and the predator, the migration, and the den. Dreams awaken these memories, letting them step forward in symbolic form. Animals in dreams can also heal. A wounded bird placed in your hands may reflect your own wounded hope. Caring for it in dream may restore not only the bird, but yourself. A bear offering you warmth in its den may be the dream's way of wrapping you in comfort you have denied yourself. Animals arrive not only as signs, but as healers bearing medicine carried in their presence. At times, the dream animal is terrifying. A pack of wolves surrounds you. A spider crawls over your skin. A shark circles in the water. Fear surges, and you wake trembling. But even terror has meaning. The animal is not enemy, but message. It asks, what do you fear in yourself? What part of instinct have you denied? The dream brings the wild to your doorstep, demanding attention. Cultures interpret these animals differently. In one land, the snake is evil. In another, it is sacred. In one, the owl is omen of death. In another, it is wisdom. Dream language shifts with culture, yet beneath the variation lies the same truth. Animals speak to what is primal, what is shared across humanity. Sometimes the animal is mythic. A dragon coils through your dream, breathing fire. A phoenix rises from ashes, wings blazing. A unicorn bows its head, glowing with purity. These beings are not random. They are archetypes too born of human imagination, carrying meaning that feels older than time. To dream of them is to enter myth, to touch the shared stories of humanity. And sometimes you become the animal. You run with 4 legs, feeling the earth pound beneath you. You swim with fins gliding effortlessly through deep currents. You soar with wings, seeing the world from above. These dreams dissolve the line between human and animal, reminding you that the wild is not outside you, but within. You are animal too. When you wake from such dreams, linger in their presence. Ask what the animal meant not to dream alone, but to you. Did it frighten or comfort? Did it challenge or guide? The language of animals is personal as much as it is universal. It speaks to your own instincts, your own hidden truths. So tonight, if an animal enters your dream, welcome it. Watch how it moves, listen for its message. It may not speak in words, but it speaks nonetheless. For the animals of dream are not strangers. They are companions, guides, healers, and reminders of the wild within you. There are dreams where we find ourselves not in forests, not in oceans, not in the skies, but in cities. Cities that do not exist in waking life. Cities that rise from imagination, vast and intricate, filled with towers, bridges, alleys, and plazas. These dream cities feel both familiar and strange, like places we have visited before, yet can never name on a map. Dream cities often follow their own architecture. They are endless, shifting, labyrinthine. Streets bend back upon themselves, doors open to unexpected rooms, stairways climb into the sky. A familiar square may lead in the next moment into a marketplace of another century. A train station may become a cathedral. A bridge may stretch across water that never ends. The city is alive, breathing, reshaping itself with every step. Sometimes these cities are dark. Streets are deserted, windows, hollow lamps flicker with ghostly light. You wander alone through ruins, walls, crumbling silence heavy. It feels as though the city remembers a catastrophe you cannot name. Other times they are luminous. Buildings gleam with crystal streets, pulse with music, crowds move like flowing rivers of color. You walk among them and feel joy, belonging, wonder. Why do cities appear in dream? Perhaps because cities are the landscapes of human memory. We build them in waking life, brick by brick, as reflections of our minds. In dream, the mind rebuilds them, shaped not by stone, but by thought. Each street is a path of memory, each building a chamber of emotion, each crowd a chorus of selves. The city is the architecture of the soul. Consider the endless staircases. You climb and climb and climb, but never arrive. This may be the dream's way of showing ambition, struggle, or futility. Or the stair may lead higher and higher until suddenly it opens to sky, an ascent into possibility. Dream staircases hold both exhaustion and transcendence. Or think of the repeating streets. You turn a corner and find yourself where you began. Again and again the cycle repeats. This may reflect habits, patterns, thoughts that circle endlessly. The city becomes a mirror of the mind's loops. Dream cities also carry time differently. One district may belong to the past, with cobblestones and horse-drawn carts. Another may belong to the future, with towers of glass and machines humming in the air. Walking through them is like walking through history and prophecy at once. Dream collapses centuries into neighborhoods. At times, dream cities feel more real than waking ones. You remember their streets long after you wake, the way the light hit the windows, the sound of fountains and plazas. You may even return night after night, exploring the same dream city as though it truly exists somewhere beyond. Dream researchers call these recurring landscapes The mind builds a world so detailed it becomes a second home. And yet these cities are never stable. You walk into a building and find it dissolves into sky. You turn a corner and the ground falls away. The city shifts because the mind shifts. Its architecture is thought not stone, and thought is fluid. What do these cities teach us? That the mind is an architect, that memory, longing, fear, and hope build worlds as solid as any brick, that within us is not only a self, but entire geographies, entire civilizations. The city of dream is proof that consciousness is vast, layered, alive. Imagine tonight you enter such a city. You walk through a gate carved with symbols you cannot read. Inside streets stretch in all directions. One leads to a market where children fly kites made of starlight. Another leads to a library where books whisper as you pass. Another leads to a tower so tall its top disappears into clouds. You wander, knowing you could stay forever and still not see all. Dream cities remind us that within sleep lies infinity, that the mind can construct worlds as grand as any universe, that we are not only dreamers, but creators, not only wanderers, but builders. Each city is a cathedral of the soul shaped by what we carry inside. So when you wake from such dreams, remember them gently. Sketch the streets if you can write down the plazas. Describe the bridges. They may never exist on earth, but they exist in you. They are maps of your inner world, reminders that your imagination is vast enough to build whole civilizations. And if tonight you find yourself walking those shifting streets again, do not fear their strangeness. Follow them. Climb their staircases, cross their bridges, enter their towers. For the architecture of dream cities is not random. It is a whisper of your own depth, showing you the infinite places your soul can inhabit. Most mornings we wake with empty hands. We know we dreamed, but the details dissolve like mist in sunlight. The fragments slip away, faces fading, words vanishing, landscapes dissolving into nothing. What was vivid only moments before becomes unreachable, a shadow hiding behind the veil of waking. These are the forgotten dreams lost to memory, but not to the soul. Why do dreams vanish so quickly? Science tells us the brain does not always transfer dream images into long-term memory. The chemical signatures fade, the pathways close, the story unravels. Dreams live in the lightest stage of sleep, and waking scatters them like leaves in the wind. But perhaps forgetting is not failure. Perhaps it is part of the design. If we remembered every dream, our waking life would drown beneath their weight. Every night we dream for hours, hundreds of images, thousands of impressions. To carry them all would overwhelm the mind. Forgetting may be a kind of mercy, a way of protecting us from too much wonder, too much chaos. The dreams slip beneath the surface unseen, but not gone. Sometimes, though, a trace lingers. A color, a sound, a strange emotion with no name. You wake with sorrow, though nothing has happened. You wake with joy, though the world is unchanged. These feelings are the fingerprints of forgotten dreams. They remind us that even when the story is gone, its echo remains. Forgotten dreams may still guide us. A choice feels lighter or heavier without explanation. An idea arrives without clear source. A warning whispers without context. It may be that a dream planted these seeds, leaving behind only the fruit, not the tree. Forgetting the details does not erase the influence. Sometimes forgotten dreams return suddenly. A scent in the air, a melody, a word spoken by a stranger, and the memory floods back. You realize you have dreamed this before. The forgotten has been waiting hidden until the right key unlocked it. Dreams are never truly lost. They are simply stored in rooms we rarely enter. There are traditions that honor even forgotten dreams. Some cultures say that every dream remembered or not travels to the spirit world where ancestors read them. Some say forgotten dreams sink into the body, guiding instinct shaping fate. Others say forgotten dreams are the most powerful because they work unseen beyond the reach of analysis. Imagine tonight you dream of a river. It winds endlessly, carrying messages in its currents. You wake and remember nothing, yet all day you feel calm, as if water still moves through you. The dream has been forgotten by mind, but not by heart. Its current still flows within. Why do we long to remember dreams? Because they feel like gifts, like messages. Because they reveal hidden parts of us, glimpses of truth. To lose them feels like losing treasure. And yet perhaps forgetting teaches trust. Trust that the dream has already done its work, whether we remember or not. Trust that what needs to remain will remain even without words or images. Sometimes we try to catch them. We keep journals by our bed, writing in half darkness before the dream slips away. We train ourselves to hold onto fragments, weaving them into story. We become archivists of the night collectors of shadows. And yet, even with discipline, much is lost. The forgotten dreams outnumber the remembered. They are the ocean. Memory is only a few waves. Perhaps that is as it should be. Forgetting keeps mystery alive. It keeps dream from being fully captured, fully caged. It lets them remain wild, belonging partly to the unknown. Dreams vanish so that they can continue whispering from places beyond our grasp. So when you wake tomorrow and find your mind empty, do not despair. The dream is not gone. It has simply gone deeper. It has moved into the hidden chambers of the soul where it continues to breathe. You may not recall its story, but you are still shaped by it, still held by it. Forgotten dreams remind us that mystery is part of life. Not everything can be remembered. Not everything must be known. Some truths work best unseen. Some healing happens without words. Dreams vanish, but their essence remains like perfume in the air after the flower is gone. So tonight when dreams come, hold them if you can. But if they slip away, let them. Trust that they are not lost, only hidden. For even forgotten dreams continue their work quietly, invisibly, faithfully within you. There are dreams that frighten us not because of monsters, not because of falling, not because of endless chases, but because they show us death, the end of breath, the closing of eyes, the silence that follows. In waking life, death is a mystery we rarely wish to face. But in dreams, it sometimes comes uninvited, standing before us, like a mirror of inevitability. To dream of death is to dream of endings. You may see yourself lying still, body cold friends gathered in mourning. You may dream of a coffin of earth covering you of a final farewell. Or you may dream of simply stopping, no pain, no violence, just a fading into stillness. These dreams linger long after waking. They cling to the mind-stirring fear questions, sometimes an unexpected calm. Why do we dream of death? Some say it is the mind's way of rehearsing the inevitable, preparing us for what we cannot avoid. Just as we dream of danger to sharpen instinct, we dream of death to soften its edge. Others say death in dreams is not about physical dying, but about transformation, a symbol of change of chapters, closing of identities, fading so that new ones can be born. Death as metaphor, not only destiny. Consider the dream where you die and then rise again. The moment of ending becomes the moment of rebirth. You awaken inside the dream alive, in another form, walking through another landscape. This is not death as terror, but death as passage. It reminds us that the unknown may not be void, but doorway. Cultures interpret death dreams differently. Some see them as warnings, omens of illness or disaster. Others see them as blessing signs that long struggles are ending. In ancient traditions, to dream of death often meant renewal, a letting go of the old self, an invitation to begin again. The dream becomes less about loss and more about transformation. Sometimes we dream not of our own death, but of others, a loved one dying, leaving us behind. We wake, shaken, heart heavy, desperate to see them alive. Such dreams may reveal fear of separation, or they may be the mind's way of processing inevitable partings. Sometimes they bring comfort too, showing loved ones at peace, smiling, telling us they are well. In these moments, dreams offer what waking cannot reassurance about what lies beyond. There are also dreams where death is not a person, but a presence, a figure cloaked in black, silent, faceless, watching, or perhaps gentle with eyes of compassion, hand extended. Death becomes character, not event, a visitor, not a void. Meeting this presence in dream can be terrifying or strangely comforting, as though the soul recognizes a guide waiting patiently. Dreams of death often shift our perspective on life. We wake more aware of fragility. The sun feels sharper, the voices of loved ones sweeter, the hours more precious. A dream of death can be a reminder not of ending, but of living, an invitation to cherish the moments we still have. And yet for some, these dreams bring peace. To see oneself die in a dream and yet to wake alive is to realize that death is not the end of being. Something continues: awareness, presence, soul. The dream whispers, you are more than body, more than time. Even when the body falls silent, the dreamer remains. Imagine tonight you dream of your own death. You close your eyes, breath fades, silence falls. But then you find yourself standing in a meadow filled with light. No pain, no fear, only peace. The dream does not punish, it comforts. It reminds you that death, whatever it may be, is not darkness alone, but passage, transformation, return. Forgotten by many, remembered by some, death dreams are among the oldest. Shamans dreamed of them to speak with ancestors. Kings dreamed of them to prepare for legacy. Ordinary people dreamed of them and woke with reverence, speaking of them as sacred visits. Dreams of death have always been teachers, stripping away illusion, bringing us face to face with impermanence. Perhaps this is their gift, not to terrify, but to awaken, not to end, but to remind. The dream of death is the dream of life's edge, and therefore the dream of life's depth. We cannot know the full mystery, but we can hold it gently as part of what it means to be human. So if tonight death appears in your dream, do not turn away too quickly. Look at it. Listen to it. Ask what it is ending, what it is beginning, for the dream of death is not only about dying, it is about living fully, knowing that every breath is precious because it will one day stop. It is about trusting that even in the silence, something continues. It is about learning that death-like dream is not enemy, but companion walking beside us until the final threshold. There are nights when dreams lift us far beyond the ordinary, not into streets or houses, not into forests or oceans, but into the vastness of the cosmos. We find ourselves floating among stars, walking on distant planets, gazing upon galaxies that unfold like flowers of light. These are cosmic dreams journeys that carry the soul beyond the boundaries of Earth into the infinite sky. Cosmic dreams often begin with flight. You rise from the ground higher and higher until the atmosphere thins, until the curve of Earth lies beneath you. The air is gone, but you breathe without effort. Silence surrounds you, vast and shimmering. The stars are countless, each one alive, each one a beacon calling your attention. You move not with wings, not with machines, but with will alone, gliding as thought itself. Sometimes these dreams bring awe. You drift past Saturn's rings, shimmering with ice. You stand upon the surface of Mars, red dust swirling at your feet. You look back at Earth, small and glowing, a fragile jewel suspended in black. From such heights, all worries shrink. The arguments, the burdens, the noise of waking life dissolve into perspective. The dream whispers you are part of something vast. Other times, cosmic dreams bring mystery. You encounter beings of light forms, shifting and radiant, who seem to speak without words. Their presence fills you with calm, as if they have always known you. You ask who they are, and their answer arrives not in sound, but in understanding. We are you, we are the stars. We are memory older than time. You wake with a sense of connection, unable to explain, yet unable to forget. Cosmic dreams may also reveal structures beyond imagining. Cities suspended in the void, built from crystal and flame. Libraries carved into asteroids, filled with books that turn their own pages. Temples floating in nebulae, glowing with colors no waking eye has seen. The architecture of dream expands into galactic scale, reminding us that imagination knows no boundary. Why do we dream of the cosmos? perhaps because it is our origin. Every atom in our body was born in a star forged in fire billions of years ago. When we dream of the cosmos, we are dreaming of home. The stars are not strangers, they are our ancestors, our kin. The dream carries us back to them, letting us remember what waking forgets. Science studies cosmic dreams too. Some say they are simply the brain's way of translating awe, our fascination with the night sky, our hunger for exploration. But others note that people across cultures, across centuries, report the same visions floating, flying, meeting luminous beings gazing at Earth from above. Could it be that the dream opens not just imagination, but access to a deeper reality, a dimension where mind touches universe directly? Cosmic dreams can also be healing. To see the earth from space in a dream often leaves the dreamer with renewed compassion, a desire to care for the fragile world. To feel infinite silence can calm even the most restless soul. To meet radiant beings can dissolve loneliness, reminding us that we are never alone in the cosmos. These dreams enlarge the heart as much as they expand the mind. Imagine tonight you step into such a dream. You rise beyond the atmosphere, stars opening like blossoms around you. You pass through a nebula, its colors soft as breath. You rest upon a comet, gazing at galaxies wheeling in endless motion. Time dissolves. You are not body, not name, not history. You are simply awareness vast as the sky itself. The dream carries you into infinity, and in that infinity, you feel at peace. Cosmic dreams remind us that the mind is not confined to Earth. It can travel galaxies, cross centuries, imagine eternity. They remind us that the universe is not only outside, but inside, mirrored in every atom, every breath. To dream of stars is to dream of self, for we are made of the same fire. So when the night carries you outward, do not resist. Let yourself drift among stars. Let yourself listen to the silence of galaxies. For in cosmic dreams, the universe speaks, and its whisper is simple. You belong here. You always have. Dreams are not single threads. They are a vast weaving, a tapestry stretching beyond memory, beyond time, beyond even the self. Each night, we add new patterns, some bright, some dark, some remembered, some forgotten. Together they form the endless fabric of the dreaming life. This tapestry is not linear. One dream flows into another, even across years. A child dreams of a staircase that never ends. As an adult, they dream of the same staircase, only now it leads to light. A traveler dreams of a city of glass. Decades later, the city returns its streets unchanged, its towers gleaming. Dreams weave continuity where waking life feels scattered. They remind us that the soul is not bound by ordinary chronology. The tapestry is also communal. Your dreams and mine are not separate threads, but interwoven. When we dream of flying, of falling, of oceans, of doors, we are touching universal symbols, patterns, shared across humanity. Your dream of a bird may connect to another's dream of wings. Your dream of a flood may connect to another's dream of tears. The tapestry binds us together, whispering that we are part of one fabric, not many. Each symbol is a stitch, The lion, the serpent, the staircase, the storm. Each one appears again and again in different lives and different cultures in different centuries. Dreams recycle their language not because they lack imagination, but because they are speaking truths so deep they must be repeated endlessly. Symbols are threads that never break. The tapestry is also personal. It holds your private colors, your secret shapes. Only you dream of that specific street, that specific face, that specific moment. These are your unique stitches woven into the universal cloth. Without them, the tapestry would be incomplete. The dream fabric needs every thread common and unique, simple and elaborate. Some dreams are knots, they tangle, confuse, resist unraveling. Nightmares, repeated anxieties, strange symbols that refuse to make sense. They feel like flaws, but in weaving knots give strength. They hold the fabric together, preventing it from falling apart. So too with dream, our fears bind us as much as our hopes. Other dreams are shimmering patterns. They glisten with beauty, joy, wonder. They are the ones we carry gladly into waking, telling friends, writing in journals, painting in colors. These are the bright stitches reminding us that dream is not all shadow, but light as well. And some dreams are empty spaces. We forget them entirely, and yet they are still part of the tapestry. Like invisible threads, they hold shape without being seen. We do not need to remember them for them to matter. They are present even in absence. Why does the tapestry never end? Because dreaming is not a pastime, but a function of being alive. To live is to dream. The body breathes, the soul dreams. From birth to death, the tapestry continues adding layers, depth, pattern. Even in final sleep, who can say the dreaming stops? Perhaps death is only another loom weaving another fabric. Imagine standing before this tapestry. It stretches beyond sight, shimmering with millions of colors. You see your own threads winding through it, thin, fragile, glowing. You see them intertwining with others, forming shapes you could never weave alone. You realize you are not separate, not forgotten, not meaningless. You are part of a vast design beautiful beyond comprehension. The tapestry teaches humility. You are not the weaver alone. You are a thread vital and delicate, held by the loom of existence. And yet you are also the weaver, shaping your nights, guiding your imagination, adding your unique color to the whole. You are both part and whole, fragment and totality. When you wake tomorrow, the dream you carry is not just for you. It is part of this larger fabric. Every dream is contribution, every vision another stitch. The tapestry grows richer because of you. Without your dreams, it would be incomplete. So tonight, as you drift once more into sleep, remember the fabric waiting. Step gently into its colors. Let the threads wrap around you, guide you, hold you. You are weaving even when you do not know it. You are part of the endless tapestry of dreams, and that tapestry will never end.